The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the distress beacon pierced through subspace. Every species representative present a crystalline vector. The gazest Numans, the insectoid Chickstraw, turned their sensory organs toward the holographic display at the chamber's center. The signal originated from Sector 7 to 9, a quarantined region of space that hadn't been disturbed in 3,000 years. Impossible, hissed Ambassador Thelkor, his scales rippling with barely concealed terror. The humans sealed that sector. They promised us it would never awaken. But the beacon continued its rhythmic pulse, ancient and unyielding, a reminder of an age the galaxy had tried desperately to forget. Olivier Chen stood at the observation deck of the mining station orbiting Kepler 442b, watching the workers extract rare minerals from the planet's surface. At 26, she had spent half her life among the stars, following in her parents' footsteps as an exogeologist. Earth was a distant memory now, a blue marble she visited only during mandatory leave. Olivia, you need to see this. Odan's voice crackled through her CUM device. Her partner sounded shaken, which was unusual for someone who'd faced plasma storms and gravitational anomalies without flinching. She found him in the research lab, his dark eyes fixed on a series of readings that made no sense. Aiden Torres had been her research partner for 3 years, and she'd learned to trust his instincts about cosmic anomalies. What am I looking at? She asked, leaning over his shoulder. A distress signal. Old frequency, pre-expansion era. He pulled up a waveform analysis. Olivia, this is human technology, but it's from before we even left the solar system. Her breath caught. That's impossible. We didn't have FTL capability back then. I know, Aiden whispered, but it's there, and it's not just a signal something massive just activated in Sector 7 to 9. Before Olivia could respond, every screen in the station flashed red. The emergency channel opened, and a face she'd seen only in history textbooks appeared. Admiral Kenji Yamamoto, head of the Human Defense Initiative. All human vessels and stations are ordered to return to Sol System immediately. This is not a drill. Operation Guardian has been triggered. The transmission ended. Olivia and Aiden stared at each other in confusion. Operation Guardian wasn't in any public database they could access. The journey back to Earth took 2 weeks via the fastest commercial transport they could commandeer. During that time, fragmentary reports filtered through unofficial channels. The Galactic Council had convened an emergency session. Several alien species were mobilizing their fleets. Most disturbing of all, they weren't mobilizing against each other, they were creating a perimeter around human-controlled space. They're quarantining us, Aiden said, studying the fleet movements. Why would they quarantine humanity? Olivia had been digging through restricted archives, using credentials she probably shouldn't have had. What she found made her blood run cold. Aiden, do you know why humanity was allowed to join the Galactic Council so why, despite being a young species, we were given a seat at the table? He shook his head. Because 3,000 years ago, before recorded human history as we know it, Earth had an empire, not just on Earth, among the stars. And when that civilization fell, they left behind something, a protector. She pulled up a heavily redacted document. The other species founded during their exploration of our sector. They tried to claim Earth, tried to colonize our ancestors who'd regressed to primitive societies, but the protector activated. It destroyed their fleet so thoroughly, with such overwhelming force, that the survivors made a pact. Never disturb Earth again. Never threaten humanity. Odin's face had gone pale. The beacon, we triggered it somehow. We expanded too far too fast. The protector thinks we're under threat again. When they arrived at Earth, they found humanity's entire military fleet assembled around a location in deep space beyond Neptune's orbit. At its center floated something that defied comprehension, a structure so massive it dwarfed Jupiter, constructed from materials that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Sentinel, Olivia and Aiden, managed to secure passage on a shuttle headed for the Central Command vessel. Admiral Yamamoto stood on the bridge, her elderly face lined with the weight of impossible decisions. You're the exogeologists who found the signal, she said without preamble. Good. You need to understand what you've awakened. She gestured to the Sentinel on the view screen. Our ancestors built this as a defense against threats we can't even imagine. It's designed to protect Earth and humanity by any means necessary. When we started colonizing beyond certain boundaries, when we joined the Galactic Council, we triggered proximity protocols we didn't know existed. Can we shut it down? Olivia asked. Shut it down? The Admiral laughed bitterly. We can barely communicate with it. The technology is so advanced, we're like children trying to explain to adults. But we have to try. Because if we don't, if the Sentinel interprets the alien fleet gathering at our borders as a threat, she didn't need to finish. The implication was clear. Aiden stepped forward. What do you need us to do? The diplomatic shuttle carried representatives from Earth and the Galactic Council toward the Sentinel. Olivia felt the weight of species-wide survival pressing down on her shoulders. How had she become part of this? As they approached, the Sentinel came alive. Lights in impossible colors cascaded across its surface. A voice ancient, patient, vast spoke in every language simultaneously. I am Guardian. I protect the children of Earth. Threats detected. Calculating response. Olivia activated the comm channel. Her voice trembled but held steady. Guardian, we are the children of Earth. We speak for humanity now. There is no threat. Fleet formations detected. Weapons charged. Protocols demand elimination. No. Arden shouted. Listen to us. Those fleets aren't here to attack, they're afraid. Afraid of you. Our ancestors built you to protect us. But we don't need that protection anymore. We've learned to defend ourselves. We've learned to negotiate, to find peace. Silence stretched across the void. Then, evidence required. Olivia took a deep breath. We invite you to observe, watch humanity, see what we've become. We're not the helpless children you were built to defend. We've grown, we've evolved, and we choose diplomacy over destruction. The lights on the Sentinel pulsed, processing, considering, observation mode activated, Guardian protocols suspended. I will watch. I will learn. If humanity requires protection, I will remember how to wake. The structure began to dim, its impossible energies withdrawing back into dormancy. As their shuttle returned to Earth, Olivia watched the alien fleets slowly, cautiously disperse. The galaxy had been reminded that humanity, however young, had ancient roots that reached deep into cosmic history, and somewhere in the darkness beyond Neptune, the Sentinel waited, watching, learning, protecting from the shadows. The galaxy would remember this day. The day they learned why humanity had always been left alone.